All right. Look at the people piling in. Hey, Jake, make sure that the chat. Oh, let's make sure the chat is accessible for everybody. What is happening, everybody? Hey, as you're coming into the webinar, say hello to Montaz and just drop in the chat where you guys are coming in from. We'd like to know where our people are. We'd like to know where our people are. Raleigh, Madison, Texas, Ventura, Southern Maryland, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Bay Area, Montclair, New Jersey. Wait, who's from Montclair? Hold on, that just went right by me. Oh, Khadijah. Okay, yeah. Khadijah, you're on all the webinars. I'm from Montclair, New Jersey, Montaz. That's why. But I'm in Michigan. I don't live there anymore. I live in Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Another Montclair, Stacy Yates. Stacy, I don't think we know each other. And another Montclair. Yeah, I live about an hour north of Detroit now. So awesome. Here we go. Let's get it kicked off. I have a very special guest with me today, and his name is Montaz McCray, and he is a bit of a celebrity. See what I did there? A celebrity, Keller Williams celebrity.
I love that.
Yeah. Montaz was recently on stage at Mega Camp with Gary Keller, telling his story. And we wanted to have him here on Lab Coats to tell his story even more. He's been in the business for 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he is in the Baltimore area, and he did 35 transactions in his first year in the business. And that equated to what, 19, 20 million your first year?
Well, 11.5 million. My
11.
first
Oh,
year.
you're going to do 20 million, about 20 million this year, right?
Wait, I did 21.5 million last year, but I'll probably do somewhere between like 23 to 26 this year.
So you're in
Million
your third year now.
in my third year. Yeah.
Wow, dude. That's amazing. And you know what I love about this? You're only 24 years old. Dude, when I was 24, I was just like goofing off. I was on the 10-year plan at the university and bartending, living the dream. And Montaz is making the money. You know, when you give a 24-year-old that kind of money, when you give a 24-year-old Nick Baldwin that kind of money, it goes down the toilet. But when you give Montaz that kind of money, he invests in 12 income properties. We're going to get into that in a minute. Montaz, thanks for being here, dude. I'll shut up now. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
This is
man.
great.
Tell us about, I want to just know how you got into the business.
Okay, so how I got into the business, I was in my last semester of undergraduate school, and it was actually like my last month. And I took a trip to Atlanta to visit a friend, and I really respected this friend. They held a very prestigious position at Apple. They were the head of business development and had $1 million house, had the $200,000 G-Wagon. And I'm like, wow, I want those things. But then he told me that he was quitting Apple and getting into real estate full time. So I'm just like, well, why are you doing this? I was about to graduate at the top of my class, so I was gonna go to NYU to
Oh, very
NYU
nice.
MBA school to like get that degree because I graduated from a small like college. I did well. I got a 3.75 GPA, but I needed further credentials to perpetuate myself faster to make more money because I was going to go into consulting and finance. Long story short, I seen how he was living. He told me he was quitting and getting real estate. I'm like, well, you know what? If he's leaving this prestigious position, there must be something there. So that led me to get my real estate license before I went to NYU to get my MBA and spend all that money.
And so then you got a job right out of college, right? Making
So
six figures.
got my dream job right out of college, working for a nonprofit as a staff accountant. But yes, I had like multiple job offers. So I was really able to negotiate a really competitive salary
Okay.
coming right out of school. Yeah, I mean, because I had a 3.75 GPA and then I had all the high honors and things of that nature. So it just made it easier for me to sell myself and try to get the rate, get the salary rate that I wanted.
And what did you do? What's the first purchase you made when you got that six-figure job?
So, I had a friend who he graduated at the same time, so he bought a Range Rover, but he was in a much better financial position, and his
Mhm.
parents probably helping him a lot more than my parents were. But we
Yeah,
decided we wanted to be twins, so I went and leased a Range Rover as well.
totally.
Could be twins, and a
Yeah, there's
thousand.
nothing like Range Rover twinsies.
Literally. So the payment is literally, it was like $899, like almost $1,000. That was one of my first purchases. It was a lease. Oh my God.
Okay.
Love
And you got fired from your job after a very short period of time, right?
literally like not even 3 months in.
And
Not even.
because they found out that you were taking your real estate class.
So, well, no, when I started that job, I had already had my license. So I literally got home from that trip to Atlanta and I'm like, okay, cool. I started working on my license immediately. So by the time that month had ended, I literally had my license. So I hung my real estate license and I started my first big boy job, that staff accountant job, on the same
Mm-hmm.
day.
Okay.
So from day one, I was trying to go to all the team meetings, watch all the trainings, leaving early to go do showings for people. And I had like rental clients that I was working with, and I was leaving early to go do open houses and things of that nature. So it was a lot. And I mean, I got fired. They did find my social media, but it was a performance as well. I won't lie and act like
Well, you weren't
that's
feeling it.
yeah, I wasn't feeling because I was trying to do real estate at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'll say it was a mix of both, and my performance wasn't there because I mean, real estate is very time intensive. You can't be half in and half out. If you're going to do real estate and you want high success, you have to be 100% in it, dedicated every day, and just like
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Nothing wrong with being dual career, but I think that, if you really want to, you know, take it to the next level, you got to give it your all. So, um, I'm curious, like your first year in the business, from what I remember, the first 6 months, you didn't do a single deal, right? And
right.
then the next 6 months, it just kind of took off. What were you doing for the first 6 months to then create a successful back half of that first year?
Yeah, so like on the stage too, I referenced and alluded to knowing what to say and how to say it. I feel like, you get a lot of opportunities as a new agent, and people like you might be out to dinner with maybe some family members and they kind of just ask you some questions. They ask you how the market is and you just start blabbing all about the market. But the real answer to the question is the market's great. Are you looking to buy or sell? But you would think as a new agent, let me just try to sound so smart. Oh, the market's great. Are you looking to buy or sell? Because it's different cues and things that you should say. Because now if you have somebody say that they're looking to sell, you can craft the answer, but also in that answer intertwine pieces of your value proposition and how you're helping your clients sell for top dollar, like in different things that you have that's unique to other agents. So instead of just blabbing, just knowing what to say, also learning the product, hosting several open houses. I got to walk through different style homes, got to learn materials and homes and things of that nature. And that really helped me to become a better real estate advisor. So, I mean, it takes time. And then again, I'm handling one of the largest transactions that somebody will ever make in their life. So to go from, hey, just making this big announcement that I just got my real estate license and expecting people to want to call me and blow my phone up, I mean, you got to think like it's literally one of the biggest transactions that somebody's ever going to make in their life. Do you really think that they want to chance it with somebody who just got started, who barely knows they're doing? You have to show people that, you're worthy enough to earn their business at first.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And so like a lot of new agents, they get into the biz are like, now I'm going to make all the money. They don't take the time to learn the business. They don't take the time to learn the inventory, to learn how a deal is done. I mean, half of them don't even take the time to read a contract until they're actually filling one out for the first time, right? So that's super important. Okay, so it's interesting. So Gary Keller said to me a couple weeks ago, because we were talking about real estate and business, and he said, do you lead generate, or are you your lead generation? And that makes sense, right? Like, that's what, do you sit down and lead gen, or do you just kind of like, are you living your are you living your life as your lead generation? And that's kind of like what you were doing. You were going out, learning the market, learning how houses were built, learning how deals are done. And then when you start having conversations with people, you know what you're talking about, even though you haven't sold the house, right?
Yeah,
Is it?
eventually. And then again, in real estate, you get paid in arrears. So you get paid for stuff that I do today, I'll get paid 3 months later.
Yeah.
It's not instant gratification in real estate. It's just being consistent and steadily staying in the business and, steadily trying to add more and more value to your clientele.
So tell me about your first deal.
Okay, my first deal. So it's funny. I used to wait tables through college. And I met this man. He had on a "I'm a Future Millionaire" t-shirt, and so I walked up to him. I'm like, anybody who has a "I'm a Future Millionaire"
You
t-shirt
said,
on,
hey, I'm a future millionaire too.
right? I mean, little did I know. And I just said, anybody who has a "I'm a Future Millionaire" t-shirt on, they must run a business. What kind of business do you run? And he said, hey, I run a real estate business, flipping and investing in properties. Cool. So we just kept in contact, and we followed each other on Instagram. Fast forward 2 or 3 years later, I make the announcement on Instagram, that I'm a licensed Maryland realtor and XYZ. And he hadn't really trusted realtors up until that point in that whole shebang. But anyway, I saw that he bought his wife a Benz for Christmas. I commented on there, that's a boss move. Then he said, oh, perfect. Yep, come sell 2 houses for me.
Oh,
And that was my first piece of my first leads or first piece of business. So long story
he
short,
flipped the houses and he wanted you to list them?
yeah, he flipped them and he wanted me to list them. So what had happened was I listed one of the properties, but it had some permit issues. I didn't end up selling it till months later. But he ended up buying a Section 8 house for $60,000. And
Mm-hmm.
that was my first closing. So it was my first closing, but it wasn't as glorified and perfect because it was literally only $60,000. And I think I made like maybe $1,000 after
Mm-hmm.
fees. I've already carried all of these expenses for 6 months, licensing fees, Century Lock, MLS
Yeah,
fees,
it paid for all that.
marketing. So I'm in the hole big time. So it was nice, but it was oh wow, like $1,000, like perfect.
So then from there, how'd your second deal come about? Because I'm feeling like, you spent all this time building your business up the first 6 months, and then the last half of that year, you did 36 transactions, 35 transactions. So it kind of snowballed. So how did it start to snowball?
How did it start to snowball? It's just like the different seeds and pieces that I had planted in that first 6 months. They all just
Give me an
started to
example of a seed other than that guy.
Well, I would say social media marketing, just putting
Okay.
myself there, and then people seeing me be consistent. One of
Yeah.
my sister's friends called me to sell her house. Sold her house, and this was when the market was smoking hot. If you put a listing up, it would
Right.
just go. And then, but social media it's been really big and instrumental for me. I like to keep it organic. I do all my own posting. I don't have anybody. I don't pay a company to post for
Mm-hmm.
me, but I just try to post things that'll resonate with people and that are relatable, and just be my true and genuine self, but also just show myself in the best light. So when people know that if they're looking to buy or sell in Central Maryland, DC, or Northern Virginia, that they should know that Montaz McCray is somebody that I should contact because he's constantly doing the business day in and day out.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. So when it started to snowball, 35 transactions in 6 months is like three or four deals a month, give or take, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you were averaging about a closing a week. Did
Yep.
you feel overwhelmed? I know you have an admin now, right?
Yeah, I have an operations manager. I have a virtual assistant, a transaction coordinator, and I have about 2 to 3 showing partners that I pay per
Oh,
door.
wow, look at you. Okay, I didn't realize it was that built out. So when did you realize because this is a problem with a lot of agents. They can get burnt out really. They'll see success quickly, and then it'll crash and burn because they won't put the leverage in place. So when did you feel like, okay, this is the time now where I need to make my first hire, and how did it look?
Yeah, so quality. I was starting to get burnt out. Things were starting to slip through the cracks. And
Yeah.
I'm a type A kind of guy. I want like everything to be like, if everything could be perfect, I want it to be perfect. But I'm like type A. I don't even want like the smallest things going wrong because I'm like, even when it's just small, I'm like, this could have went wrong and this could have cost us money. So again, so for me, it was like these mistakes can cost me. So rather than me making a mistake and it cost me, let me just, and I'll use this term, and people need to like, let me invest in my business by hiring an operations manager instead of looking at it like it's a monthly expense. It's a monthly investment into my business if you do it the right way by hiring the right people in your business. But I started with a virtual cyberbacker. And so
Okay.
last when I did 21.5 million in sales volume, it was myself, a cyber backer, and a transaction coordinator. And I had some showing partners to help me out in addition to me showing all the time. But like
Mm-hmm.
I did that with a virtual assistant. But now my life has gotten a lot better by having an operations manager, full time in person, working for me like 50 to 60 hours a week, plus the cyber backer, plus a transaction coordinator.
I love that. Hey, there's a good question in the chat. There's a lot of younger agents on this call. And so, Naisha. Oh, I met her at a gathering in Austin. What's up? I remember you. She wants to know how you can elaborate, if you can elaborate on how you overcame the age barrier, because you're 24, so you got into the business when you were like 21, right?
Yeah, like 21. So for me, the age barrier, that was a big limiting belief that I had, because I didn't see a lot of young people doing it. And then, African American doing it at a high level. So what I did, I just said, hey, like, I just have to be like 5 times better, right? I need to know my scripts. I need to just bring more value to my clientele. So really just honing in, doing interviews with all the best agents in my office. Then I would call agents from other offices. Like I just did an interview with Bill DeVore. I just talked to Catherine Rain. Talking to people like Kimber Minkiti, just getting as much insight as possible so I could learn little nuggets. And what I did was, which most people don't do, the nuggets that I got, I actually applied into my business. Instead of just having a conversation and not doing anything with the information that I got, I actually applied those nuggets and gems into my business, which have really been instrumental. And I listen. I literally have a notability. I have like all the interviews that I've done with with top agents. I literally have notes, all of my notability, and I can just go back and reread and just see how
Yeah.
mine applies to my business.
So there's a lot of questions in the chat, and I'm going to get to them in a minute. But I'm super curious about what because you're a very type A person. So your day is probably very structured. What does
Mhm.
a typical day in your life look like?
Yeah. So I'm usually up like 5:30. I'll go to the gym like between 6 to 8. I'll be back at my desk like 8:30 at the latest 9. And then from 9 to 10, I'm team meetings with my team, VA and operations manager, like setting them up. And then like from 10 to 12:30, I'm lead genning as far as, hey, am I posting on social media or am I calling, doing like lead follow-up and things of that nature? Like in my database, who can I call in my database to follow up with? And then after that, I'll start taking appointments, right? But I really try to have my mornings set up so I can worry about my 30 to 60 to 90 days later. Because I've always carried about 10 to 15 deals under contract, and that's fine. That's all fine and dandy. But like, how am I going to eat the next 30 to 60, 90 days? So you have to be 10, like, even though you have deals under contract, you have to tee up your next 30 to 60, 90.
For sure. I mean, the day that you stop lead generating is the day that you take food out of your mouth 3 months from now. You know what I mean? You got to have that mindset. Okay, so let me go to some of these questions over here. I want to there's a lot of really great ones. But let's talk about your lead generation, because I have this question too. Do you carve time out of your day to lead gen? And if so, what does it look like? Or are you calling your database? What type of regular lead generation are you doing to get in front of people?
Yeah. So, like you said, like Gary said, like lead generation should really be like, you just lead gen around everything that you like to do. I made lead gen like a lifestyle. Like I
Okay.
make I make it a point to like dress nice, to always be well kept. So when I go to events, I'm meeting people, we're exchanging information. Even when I had my Range Rover, I would use that to lead generate. I would pull up wherever. I usually go to nice places. And like one day I literally sold a man a house like this, pulled up, saw him, he pulled up in a BMW. I timed it so I got out when he got out. And I was just like, and I was like, man, that's a super nice car. Like, what model is that? Blah, blah, blah. I hyped them all up. And then, what do you do? And we just built rapport, XYZ. He asked me, and of course, he see that I drive a Range Rover and I look, I'm fairly young. He wants to know what I do. Oh, I'm a real estate developer, but I also have a niche clientele that I help service, with purchasing and selling houses. And at the end of the conversation, hey man, listen, just wanted to give you my card. It's hard to come by good contractors, but take my card. I have a Rolodex of great contractors in this area. And we exchanged information, followed up with him a few weeks later, sent him my lender's contact information. He ended up buying a $600,000 house with me. Literally just as simple as that, lead generating around my lifestyle. I like to go to nice restaurants, dress nice, have my laptop, an iPad. People are asking me what I do, making contacts. When I go to events, dress nice. People, especially my good friends that like to travel with me all the time, they already know the script. Hey, Bill, just wanted to introduce you to my good friend Montaz. He's like one of the #1 agents in the state of Maryland. You guys should connect. Boom. We're making a relationship. My really good friends, they already know. I'm like, I can't travel if I don't make money. So they already know what the script is because they want to travel.
Dude, I love it. So basically, you're your own billboard. And from what I'm getting from this is that you, like you said, live your lead generation and you have conversations and you go places where people have money to buy homes, or people who own homes and want to sell them. Like, you're putting yourself in the right places not necessarily the right places at the right time, but the right places, having conversations and just learning about people. And when they find out you're a realtor, they want to have that conversation about real estate, right? I mean, not
Yeah,
all the time, but that's what I'm gathering.
and just be a decent human being. One of my clients, well, one of my best friends, I've literally sold 5 to 6 houses from one of my best friends because
Okay.
script. But I sold one of his friends, one of his other best friends, a house. And I did a check back call with him and just seeing how everything was. And he just told me, he said, hey Montez, everything is good. I want a new job, because I just feel like my job doesn't value me. I go on Instagram because I have about 10,000 followers and blah, blah, blah. I post, hey, I have a friend who is a really hardworking financial analyst looking for a job that's going to pay him what he's worth, and he's willing to do any job in the finance industry, and he has a economics degree. 3 people hit me up saying, hey, we have these positions open, and I forwarded him the information. Now he's doing interviews, and that's just something small that I did, but he
It's
will forever
huge.
remember that. And that it didn't cost me anything. But when you think about coming from contribution and really adding value to other people's lives, it's simple things that you could do like that that'll make a lasting impact on somebody.
I love it, dude. Hey, there's a great question. Like, do you own your own home now?
Yeah, so I own 12 houses,
You own
but
12 houses. You live in one of them?
I live in one of 12.
Okay. So, it was several years into the business for me when I bought my actual own home, right? So, like, I was working with buyers, but I didn't really know what they were going through. So someone in the chat is wanting to know that what do you learn? Well, I have an added question to this. They want to know what you learned about closing buyers on the fence, considering that you're young and you are new to the business. And what were you doing before? Like, you didn't know what they were going through because you were younger. You had never gone through a transaction on your own. So how'd you handle that?
Yeah, so I think there's just a whole care aspect to it too, right? So it's just like be empathetic, care, really ask questions. Yes, you don't own a home yet, but at the end of the day, just want what's best for the client. Um, just holistically, like I sold 35 houses my first year, but so after like that first year, monetarily, I wasn't really like pressed. Of course, I need to make money, but I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like I don't need to throw somebody into a house to try to pay my bills or anything. My business doubled to do 78 units last year and for 21.5 million just because I could really advise with a clear heart and a clear mind. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody walked to a house and I felt like it wasn't a good fit, I would say, hey, I don't think that this is the house for you for reasons A, B, and C. However, if you still want to purchase it, but this is my honest opinion. And you
Yeah.
can't put a dollar amount on that. And that's when people really started to view me as a real advisor, and my business doubled. Uh, because of that, because they trusted me and they referred me to family, they referred me to friends and things of that nature. And it was just a next level trust. So I would just say, just care, be empathetic, and really want what's best for that person. I know it's hard sometimes, when your
Yep.
bills are due next time, but like really build up a nest egg in this business so you can really be the true advisor that your clients need.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Like I always took that angle as well. Like, not angle's a bad word for it, but like here's the thing, like if someone ends up getting into a house that they end up not liking, or they're not 100% sure, every time I think of you, that's going to be part of it, right? So like, if you honestly feel that a house isn't right for somebody, you need to say it. And I know it can be tough because times can be tough, but commission breath reeks, right? Like, it's going to happen so much faster for you if you just are honest with your clients and you have empathy and compassion and you put them first. They're going to find something so much faster as opposed to like, I don't know, right? So I think that it's a really good great piece of advice. So I just want to talk real quick about your 12 investment properties. Like, how did that happen? You know, that's a lot of properties in a short period of time.
Yeah, so it all happened so fast. One of my mentors, Adam Foote, he's actually at my office in Keller Williams Realty Center. He helped me a lot. He helped me out a lot when I first got started in this business, and I was going through so many different, mental battles, battling imposter syndrome and things of that nature. So shout out to Adam Foote at Keller Williams Realty Center. But how did it happen? He always told me, he was like, Montez, make sure you buy properties. Make sure you buy properties, buy properties. So I bought my first property. I lived in it for a year, and then I moved to a bigger house. I put a renter in that one. I was making like $700 a month just on that one
Okay, that's
property.
good.
Yeah, and then me and my sister bought a property together, and then my sister lived with me. We bought that property. We rented it out. So we just got really savvy really fast. And then the gentleman that I met waiting tables, he was buying a lot of investment properties
Mm-hmm.
through me. And then I seen how much money he was making and things of that nature, and like how fast these properties were appreciating. And I was like, hey, well, we should invest together. And we just knew if you want to go far, go alone. But if you want to go fast, I guess go together, something like that, right? But I was like, well, listen, let's partner up. And then so we've been able to kind of like ramp up our operation. And our most recent purchase was like a 4-unit building for bought it for like 400,000, but now it was valued at 650 after we made some repairs to it.
Good for
So
you.
that's the big thing, and building generational wealth too. Like I don't want to be like 70 selling homes. Even nothing's wrong with being 70 and selling homes, but and starting at 20, I don't want to be 70 selling
Yeah,
homes.
dude, I love that. And yeah, appreciate Chase and Jeff posting in the Zoom chat your book. You're a published author to add to this,
Oh, yeah.
which I completely forgot to mention. The link is now in the chat on Zoom, and you can go to Amazon, I would assume, right? Is it on Amazon or
Oh,
somewhere?
Amazon.
Okay. Yeah, Amazon, The Young Professional's Guide to Making an Impact as a First-Year Real Estate Agent. Definitely go check that out. I could talk to you all day, but I just want to end on one quick question because everybody wants to know this. Your social media blows up. You got 10,000 followers on Instagram. I mean, everyone's asking, how do we find his social? How many people named Montaz do you know? Go type in Montaz McCray. You'll find him. He's probably the only one. So go type that up. How did you get to 10,000 followers? Like, what did because you're very purposeful about social media. What's a couple pieces of actionable advice that agents can do to get engagement and grow their following?
Yeah, like be authentic, be yourself. Think about coming from contribution and adding value. And I think just being a resource, right? Like I feel like I stand for a few different things. I think some people follow me as far as just representation, like young African American, real estate agent, investor, developer. But just serious, like every day, like I'm doing something to further perpetuate my career. And that's just the goal. Be unique, be different. I have different realtors that I follow for different reasons. Just like some of them like just have superb marketing, and like just how they present themselves is just extremely eloquent. And I like to follow them, and I follow them for inspo. And so just be unique, have a purpose, and be consistent with your brand. But just really be authentic and relatable. That's the biggest thing. People love people that they can relate to.
Yeah, I think people overthink a lot of what they post. And I think, are you off the cuff with your posting, or do you kind of like plan it out? I feel like you're a plan it out kind of guy, right?
I'm really off the cuff.
Oh,
Like
you are? Okay, because you're an A personality. So I thought maybe like, you know, you kind of planned it to an extent, but do you come up with stuff like off
Yeah,
the
like
top of
I'll
your head?
have like different themes and I'll like write them down. Like, okay, I want to post
Okay.
something about this theme, but I won't know exactly like what I'm going to say. Because sometimes if you look at some of my posts, like the grammatical errors and stuff, because I'm typing
Right.
it on the go. But it's
Okay.
all authentic as it's from the heart. And people, they know that for the most part, it is authentic. So I have like kind of like a theme, like, hey, maybe I should post this. And the stuff that really hits it's stuff that I didn't even really think that was going to hit. I'm just like, all right, I'm put it out there and we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
I love it, dude. Well, listen, we could be here all day. People have a lot of questions. I wish I could get to all of them. But I can't because we're kind of running out of time. Um, but I'm just kind of scrolling through the chat to see if there's one last one. But here's a great one from Khalil. This is a great one. What advice? We'll end on this. What advice for a new agent with a family? Wait, hold on. What advice? Okay, what advice for a new agent with a family regarding being invested fully into learning the business, doing the grunt work? Okay, what advice do you have? You left out a couple words. What advice do you have for a new agent with a family regarding being invested fully into learning the business, doing the grunt work while also bringing income to sustain his family? Okay, gotcha. So like, how do how would you suggest or give him advice to balance that, right? To obviously learn as much as you can, but also the need to bring money in. What advice would you give him?
Right. What worked for me when I first got started, I was really like hungry, diligent. So I knew I was going to wake up every day like with a chip on my shoulder to go work hard and learn as much as I can. However, I feel like most agents, I would recommend joining a team, join a team or get under somebody who's tenured in this business. Because I didn't join a team, but I did have a few mentors that helped me
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
the ropes in this business. So you want to probably maybe join a team that has different resources that you can take advantage of. You can host team open houses. You can work team sign calls, team rental leads. You will have a platform and different resources that you can instantly use. And then real estate can be a lonely sport sometimes because, again, you only eat what you kill. And if somebody is not partaking in your success, or I mean getting a piece of your success, it's not like they're going to be checking on you to see if you lead generated today or if you followed up with the leads that you worked with. So maybe join a team, because yes, they're going to take some of your commission. However, they have leads that they can provide you, different people that you could shadow that that could help you as well. So that's definitely like a big thing. Oh, yes. Yeah, join a team and get
I
a
love
mentor.
it, dude. Lots of great advice. Appreciate you, man, taking the time to be on this webinar with us. What's that? And a mentor?
Oh yeah, join a team and get a mentor.
Join a team and get a mentor. Two very, very important things. That's what I did. I joined a team, and I joined my mother's team when I first started, and she was my mentor. I think it's good because you are held accountable and you're taught certain strategies. You're given leads for the most part, right? And then, everybody, like when I was running my team, I always wanted people to outgrow it, right? So like you train people so they can outgrow it and go, leave the nest. So that's a good piece of advice. Appreciate you, man. All right, Montaz, you're awesome. This has been fun. Go order Montaz's book on Amazon. That's another thing you should do. Join a team, get a mentor, and read Montaz's book. 3 things. Appreciate you. If anyone has a question for you, you want to give them your email address?
Yeah, you can email me at info@montazmccray.com. I also have a Discord group where I share like daily mindset and what I'm working on, that can be found in my Instagram bio.
Dude, really? You have a Discord server?
I have a Discord
How many
server.
people in there?
Yeah, we have probably about a community of 50 people
Oh,
right
that's
now.
awesome, dude. And you're sharing like nuggets every day?
Yeah, every day, just kind of like exclusive nuggets, what I'm working on in the background and things of that nature, and just like different maybe exclusive tips that I've learned as well. You can't share everything on Instagram because like
I hear you,
you got
man.
can't
Real
share everything.
quick, what are you reading right now?
Oh, what book did? Oh, I like one book that I read when I first got started was The Hyperlocal Real Estate Agent. That was really, really good. Um, oh, the one
Mhm.
thing is really good out. And then also, this is a simple one, but the MREA, I literally reread the entire MREA. And when I first started, I couldn't read it. It was too much, but now it was just everything that I needed. So the MREA is everything.
People are asking server, Discord, join Discord. Oh, I meant exclamation points. Discord. Yeah. MREA, the one thing. Awesome. That's great, dude. I appreciate that. Thanks for being here, man.
Me.
This is going to be on YouTube in several days. So go and subscribe to the Lab Coat Agents YouTube channel. And I will also email out the replay to my database. And Montaz, thanks for being here, dude. Lots of value and people loved it. And we appreciate it. So thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. This has been awesome.
Have a great day, everybody.